Hello, this is Simone. I'm here with a Shimmerz video. And do you have these moments when you actually want to create but you just don't know how to start? That was me today. And then I found that sketch that I just showed you from my friend Laura Whittaker on Instagram, and I knew exactly, oh my gosh, she is my saving grace. I'm just going to use this sketch and base my whole layout around this. So there were fabric flowers on there, and there was a lot of mixed media in the background. Maybe that's why this spoke to me so much, but I had the idea that I was just going to look for a photo in my stash of printed photos, and then I would look for papers that would suit themselves to be fuzzy cut. And then I came across this hexagon paper from Shimmerz that I showed you in the beginning. And I was like, okay, I can replace the flowers with these hexagons. And then this photo of my two boys would work really, really well with that because of the colors. There's not much in there except for the neon green. And then I had the idea that it might look really, really cool if I didn't use white cardstock but colored cardstock and white gesso, spread that on really haphazardly, and then add color. So what you just saw me do is I added the gesso, and I just used a palette knife to do that, and I really tried to leave all the different strokes and textures in there because that's what actually makes that layout interesting now. And then I just cut apart a strip or cut off some of the hexagons of the paper, and now I'm fuzzy cutting them. And yeah, so I really had trouble in the past week or so. Yeah, school ended last Friday. Today's Friday. My blog post is Monday, so you are going to watch this on Monday. Hopefully, if you have time, not like me, when I have like 150 videos in my YouTube watch later list, because my life is more exhausting and more stressful that now that my kids are home from school than when they were still going to school. And for me, that is always a period of adjusting to them being home. And I just don't want to be creative and do stuff, and they just veg out in front of the TV. That's like, I don't like that. And so I hardly have any creative time. And then I knew I had this really I had to have this video up today. And the longer I waited, the more stressed I got. And usually then there is one point when I know I have a deadline that I completely just can't do anything anymore. And that's how I felt this morning. So yeah, I powered through this, and then that's when I saw the sketch from Laura, and she was really she saved me because I suddenly had these great ideas, and I just went ahead, pulled up my phone and started filming. So when I saw that hexagon paper from Shimmerz, I pulled out all the other things that I had from her. There was those cut apart sheets, there's strips and squares and all of that kind of stuff. And another paper, what was that? Yeah, the speech bubbles I pulled out and looked for them. And then I just looked in my stash of scrap papers and also new papers if I had anything that would work with the colors. And this is a paper from Coco Daisy. I think it came in their May kit. It is or maybe even April. I'm not sure. It was one of the recent kits, and it has a creamy kind of background, but there is, in faint turquoise, there is the days of the week printed on. And I don't know why, but I love that paper because I love when papers have some kind of hidden meaning that only I, as the creator, know. And I knew that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, that every day, all the time of the week, that's what those days mean to me. So yeah, I didn't really know where I went with this or where I wanted to go with this. I cut apart this sparkle it up, and then I have this, it looks like gradient dots that go from teal to purple. There was a strip on that one paper you saw me cut apart, and on that sketch there was some scallops, and so I thought maybe that strip would lend itself to the scallops. And then I went and pulled out all of my thickers and my stash of Shimmerz die cuts. And I also brought with me 2 tags because the sketch called for tags. Now I have this phrase, is it thicker phrases? I don't even know what they're called. This is, I think, one of the very first that they came out with, maybe, I don't know. It's really old. I purchased it in 2014. It is from Amy Tangerine, and there is like nothing left anymore on there. There's like R and by and off, and today is on there. And so I'm trying to use those words without them being too bold, because R isn't like the most important word in the title. So I'm looking if I can create a title, and I had the idea to maybe spell out the word or the phrase, "You are the cutest," because in this photo they just are. And not to be biased, but my kids are just the cutest kids in the world. That's a fact. And so why not make a layout about the cutest kids in the world? I really liked the title, so I put it aside. And why I'm doing this right now is because the gesso, I put it on very thick, needed to dry. And I paused the video, I think, 2 or 3 times to use my heat tool to dry it. But it was so much and so thick that I actually had to start doing what I was doing. I showed it to you. I just pulled out things that might work, that I liked in the colors that I love using. Those colors that are on this layout somehow are my comfort zone. So I gravitate towards those colors. I love working with them. They come, or creating with them comes naturally to me. So yeah, it's no wonder that when I'm stressed and when I'm on a tight deadline that I'm gravitating towards these colors. And also my stash of shimmers is biggest in this color scheme. No wonder. They are my favorite colors, so why shouldn't I have most of those in my stash? So I cut them apart, I laid them out the way I thought it might work, and then I again put them on the background. And just to see where I want to add my color. I'm preparing my creamies. I'm adding water to them so that when I'm ready to use them, they are already a little bit more they are creamier, and I can use them more easily. And then I'm opening my one green Shimmerz. It's key lime, and yeah, when I have my funds back, like when I get paid, I am going to definitely spend my money on more of those. They are just amazing. I think you heard me say that on my last video, but it's the truth. I love them. And now I'm just going to start. And yes, it is very, very intimidating to add color to a background that is prepared, but I figured if I just don't like it at all, I'm just going to redo it. It's just a green piece of cardstock, which I didn't even ever think I would use for scrapbooking. So yeah, if I have to redo this, there's actually no loss. Now, I really like how the bottom left one is coming along, but I don't like that the upper right one looks so pale. So I'm starting to add color here and there. I like the smooshing technique, and I like watching other people do it, but it's not something that comes as naturally to me as I see, for instance, Missy Whidden do it. It's like always, maybe it's not because I don't have as much control over the color. So I'm starting with the smooshing technique, but then I start adding, and then I just spray on some, maybe because I don't add water, but I don't want the colors to be pale. I want them to be vibrant, and by adding water, they're just getting more pale. And now that I think that's okay. It looks really cool like that. Now I'm adding more water to the colors, and then I'm just letting it drip from the, what is that, plastic bag thingy, packaging, onto the paper. And that's what I'm going to do with the creamies colors. I'm just adding splatters. That's what I keep doing. Adding splatters everywhere. And I think I might call it done actually right now. Yeah. So that is when I used my heat tool. And again, if you watch other people do mixed media, often they dry off their colors with tissue or paper towel. I don't like to do that because I love keeping the colors vibrant, and the minute I take off the colors with my paper towel, often the pigment is gone as well, and then they're just like pale, which is just not me. So I am going through the hassle of waiting for the colors to dry. Often I'm using my heat tool, and then they look much bolder, more vibrant. So I added the strip that mimics the scallops down in the bottom there, and now I'm playing around and looking how I like this. And I like that too, but you will see how it turns out in the end. It looks good as well. You don't even see a lot of the bottom scallop paper punch strip. Now I'm looking if I like having the hexagons go off the page. But right now, at this point in time, I actually like them being contained on the paper. At a later point, I'm going to change that. And since I'm going to add my title at the bottom, I need the sparkle it up to go someplace else. And that's where I'm going to change this again, because it doesn't. Yeah, the tag, I put down the tags too far now that I'm going to add the sparkle it up on top of my photo. And here I am just, it's not the final place for the title, but maybe it looks backwards. I am concerned about that empty space at the bottom left, where the hexagons end and the titles start. And that is what I'm working on right now. Before I start gluing all the things down and adding the title, I need to find a way, or I need to find out how it will look. And so I realized that in order to know where the U is going, I need to know where the hexagons are placed. And so I'm adding. And actually, I can't place the hexagons at the bottom yet because so that is something that needs to work hand in hand. So I decided, okay, I'm going to add the things I already know. And I also don't want the hexagons to cut too deep or lay too deeply on the photo. I also can't move the R further up because it won't show against the dark photo or shirt of my older son. So as you can see, that is what I'm working on right now. I need to find things that I can add in between the hexagons and the U so that I know where to place those letters. And I really like that camera, but actually in the end it's not going to stay on the layout. But yeah, so that's where I'm at right now. I'm working with this, and I don't know why I'm so scattered all over the place. Maybe because I'm looking for things to add in the empty spaces. And before I'm going to add the, I just wanted to make sure that I had all the things placed and that I knew where everything was going so that I could space the things out the way I wanted them to. And as you can see, the Cutest was a little bit too far on the right, so I'm just going to move the letters over a bit. And now, I never thought I was going to include this. I don't even know what it is. Is it a bear? Yeah, that bear. But I really like it, and it somehow fits there. The boys are cute, that bear is cute, and it fills that empty space up there so nicely. And yeah, so I'm adding that here. But before I do that, I fiddle around with this for a long time, and I don't really know what was the problem. I wanted to have that right behind the green sparkle it up, but somehow it just didn't. I wasn't able to put it down there. So had to take part of the layout apart, and now that's where it goes. And I just, yeah, it came together so nicely, and that is something that I really love while I create layouts, when I just let go of everything around me. That's like to some people, maybe they go to a psychiatrist or psychologist and tell them their sorrows. I don't need to do that. When I'm in the zone, that's what I call it. It's like I'm in it. I'm in this, creating this layout 100%. And I'm not really thinking that much about it. It's just things come together, and I can look at it later on, as I do right now, and I can try to tell you why I choose what I choose. But often this just comes, that's my, you would call it instinct. Is that sounds so stupid, but that is how it feels. It's like, yeah, I'm in this creative zone, or in this creative mode, and I just do what I feel is right. So unfortunately my camera turned off, or actually my phone, I didn't have enough storage on it. I totally forgot to delete older videos, and so you couldn't see me adding the word strips on the left and right side next to my photo. I also popped up the camera, and I put a little bit of foam behind the bear to pop it up, as well as the teal or turquoise speech bubble on the right side. I also added one more hexagon that went off the page. I just thought I needed that. I tried it on the other side, on the right side as well, but it just didn't look right. So I just let it veer off on one edge. Here are 2 close-ups for you. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you next time. If you decide to shop at the Shimmerz store, don't forget to mention my name at the checkout, and you will receive a surprise freebie. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you next time. Until then, bye!